In today's video, we will be going through a war thriller film entitled The Red Ghost. There will be spoilers ahead, so chill out and enjoy. The movie begins when a German military truck halts in a snowy forest near Russian territory. The commander orders his soldiers to bring down the Russian couple as captives while he strides into the cold, freezing forest. The soldiers hold the man and woman side by side, with the man's head covered by a sack. Upon reaching a cliff-like area, the soldiers stop and demand the couple perform degrading acts for their freedom. However, the Russian couple does not understand them due to the language barrier. Instead, the man acts as if he is ordering them not to kill them at that moment. The Germans mock the couple until the commander can no longer hold his patience. He decides to kill them. Suddenly, a gunshot kills the commander instantly. This alarms the Nazi soldiers, and they try to find out who the culprit is. The unknown gunman successfully takes down the remaining soldiers. The couple praises him for saving them as they narrate what happened, but the gunman does not listen and leaves. A group of Russian people crosses the snow-covered forest, struggling to reach a specific destination while carrying a wounded comrade. Despite the hardships, they continue their journey to survive the freezing cold. Dead finds a sleeping man who is almost dying from the cold. Dead first disarms him and asks his comrade Konstantin to check on him before they bring him along. Upon checking, they find no weapon hidden in his jacket, so they hold him captive despite uncertainty about his identity. Dead's group waits in a specific part of the forest while they converse about what life would be like in summer. While taking a break from their long and tiring journey, Dead and Konstantin arrive with the prisoner. Assuming he is Russian, one of them offers him a warm drink as he is nearly freezing to death. Dead then asks the group to prepare for another set-off as they need to keep traveling. While walking, the lieutenant questions Dead's decision not to kill the prisoner. Dead answers and walks on without responding further. At the same time, the sergeant carrying Kolya asks for a rest, so the lieutenant takes over. As they continue, they see several bodies frozen to death in the forest. Their journey continues until they spot an abandoned building nearby. They decide to stop there since nighttime will arrive in a few hours. They create a bonfire to keep warm and sit around it. When the sergeant complains to Red Ghost, the lieutenant intervenes and tells him to shut his mouth. The wounded Kolya tries to lighten the situation by telling a story. Unfortunately, after Kolya's narration, he passes away. The group mourns his death. The German soldiers check the perimeter as they try to locate and count the number of losses in their battalion. The three German officers discuss the unknown Red Ghost, who is responsible for the deaths of their men. As two Nazi commanders leave, Braun asks one of his men who the infamous Red Ghost is. The prisoner takes the lieutenant's gun while he is sleeping. The lieutenant wakes up and immediately demands his gun back. The prisoner bargains for a stick of cigarette. When the sergeant retrieves the gun, he warns the prisoner not to attempt the stunt again. Moments later, Dead calls for Konstantin and Ravel's attention and warns them to evacuate as Nazi soldiers roam near their temporary shelter. Behind a log, Dead, Simpleton, Vera, and the lieutenant remain hiding, while Kostya and the sergeant survey the abandoned house they found. Seeing that no one occupies the area, Kostya signals the others who are waiting. Upon noticing the sergeant drinking a prepared beverage on the table, Ravel immediately stops him. Dead arrives and sees Ravel and the sergeant struggling over the shot glass containing alcohol. The sergeant tackles Ravel to the ground in anger. Dead stops them from further fighting. Dead informs the sergeant that he saved him as the Nazis had poisoned the food on the table. Moments later, Vera and Simpleton enter the house. Vera asks for warmer clothes, so the prisoner searches the area. Dead and the lieutenant check the perimeter around Dead's friend's house. During this, they discover dead bodies in the barn. Dead pays his respects as he mourns their deaths. He decides to cover the remains with a blanket retrieved from the ground. At the same time, German troops ride their military truck to the location where their soldiers lost their lives. Led by Braun and Klein, their battalion heads to the bathhouse. Dead, Kostya, Simpleton, and the lieutenant search for a village to retrieve supplies for survival. Meanwhile, Vera and the sergeant stay in the house to let her rest before leaving. Vera stays near the window to observe the surroundings. She notices the arrival of German trucks near their area and immediately hides. The German soldiers enter the gate near Vera and the sergeant's house. Klein leads the soldiers as his men secure the perimeter to ensure everyone's safety. Unnecessary noises come from Klein, and Braun and the soldiers waiting outside are alarmed. Surprisingly, Klein is just joking to lighten the mood of his comrades. Klein and Braun enter the house as Klein proudly informs his commander about the food setup he made to deceive their enemies. The food on the table has already killed 4 Russian soldiers and is intended to target more in the coming days. Klein orders his men to remove the food bait from the table. Braun then asks Klein to prepare another portion that he can eat. Dead, Simpleton, Kostya, and the lieutenant are on their way to the house when they see the rushing sergeant. The lieutenant asks the sergeant why he disobeyed orders. The sergeant informs him about the German presence inside the house where they stayed. Annoyed, the lieutenant punches the sergeant in the face to stop his unnecessary reasoning. The German soldiers celebrate when one of them brings out a piglet on their vehicle. They decide to capture the moment and position themselves for a picture. After that, one soldier sings happily while another dances with the pig holding its feet. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out. Blood stains the snow and splashes onto the soldiers' faces. It is revealed that Braun shot the pig, ruining the soldiers' simple happiness and reminding them that no one plays with food. Braun then turns his back as if nothing happened. hand. Klein tells Braun to take the situation lightly as he goes inside, but Braun ignores him. Vera hides near the table, unnoticed, listening to their conversation throughout their stay in the house. Meanwhile, Dead, Simpleton, Kostya, and the lieutenant watch the enemies from afar and try to figure out how to fight back. They count how many German soldiers are nearby that they would need to eliminate to save Vera, who remains inside the house. At the same time, Braun and Klein discuss the infamous Red Ghost, who targets Nazi soldiers. To Vera's surprise, Braun suddenly sits on the chest-like cloth cabinet where she is hiding. She holds her breath, afraid the Germans might discover her presence. Dead asks Simpleton to use the binoculars to observe the enemies from a distance. Simpleton informs Dead that the Germans are firing at the bathhouse. Dead tells Simpleton that they must be clever in dealing with the Germans and act like the Red Ghost, who hunts the Nazis. Gunther, a German soldier, informs Braun that the sauna will be ready in about an hour. Klein warns Braun that going to the sauna is a bad idea, but Braun does not take his opinion seriously. Braun orders Klein and Gunther to stand as he scolds them for disrespecting his decisions for quite some time. While Braun angrily lashes out, Gunther notices the noise Vera has made. He tries to ignore it, knowing Braun will only get angrier if any uncalled action occurs during his rage. Braun then tells Gunther to leave before he passes out and instructs Klein to sit with him after proving his point. Dead continues to narrate the story of the Red Ghost to Simpleton while waiting for a chance to save Vera. Dead explains that the Red Ghost attacks the Germans when they are weakest or when they let their guard down. He confesses that the Nazis burned down their town, and only he and Constantine survived by hiding in the woods. Simpleton expresses amazement at the Red Ghost's abilities, but wonders about his whereabouts and how he survives battles alone. Meanwhile, the German soldiers in the yard take the opportunity to rest and converse with their comrades. Gunther enters the house where Braun and Klein are staying to deliver the food, but a noise from Vera catches his attention again. Vera struggles in the cabinet as she feels wet and notices her amniotic fluid pooling on her legs. Gunther walks quickly to the cabinet and sees the struggling, pregnant Vera. Vera gives him pleading eyes, asking him to spare her. Gunther closes the lid and walks away. Braun notices something unusual in Gunther's behavior and checks the cabinet, commending him for his action. He orders Vera to leave the trunk, interrogates her with Gunther's help, and gathers some information. Vera tries to mislead the Germans with false information, but Klein examines the photographs on the walls. Vera explains that she lost her way in the woods, and Gunther supports her story, saying the house owners are her relatives. Braun pressures Vera to confess what she knows about the Red Ghost to spare her life, but she knows nothing. She drops to her knees, begging Braun not to kill her for the sake of her baby. Klein searches the area and finds something revealing Vera's identity. Before leaving, Braun orders Klein to punish Vera for her dishonesty. Moments later, Vera exits the door, pale and bloodied. As Klein prepares to shoot her, Dead, Simpleton, Ravel, and the lieutenant sneak out to save her. The Russians try to silently eliminate the sleeping German soldiers, while Vera speaks to Klein to delay her execution. Gunther translates her words, and Klein hands him the gun. He gives Gunther 2 minutes to kill Vera, then leaves. Due to music playing in the background, Klein and the awake soldiers cannot hear the noises made by the fighting Russians and Germans. The Russians strive to kill the Nazi soldiers silently, careful not to alert the remaining troops in the yard. When Gunther is about to pull the trigger, someone shoots him in the head. The sudden attack alarms everyone and saves Vera from dying. The group of Russians sees the Red Ghost throwing an explosive into the yard to eliminate the German soldiers. Simpleton runs toward Vera to protect her. The lieutenant and the sergeant take this chance to help the Red Ghost eliminate the Nazis, attacking from different directions. While the encounter unfolds, Klein and Braun hide in the sauna. The Red Ghost and the Russians eliminate most of the German troops, leaving only Klein, a few soldiers, and the naked Braun. Everyone prepares for any remaining enemies. Braun orders one of his soldiers to survey and check how many enemies are left. He instructs Coke to distract the enemies, serving as bait and defense, while Braun and another soldier focus on offense. To Braun's surprise, Wolf attacks the soldier from behind, confusing him about whom to shoot. Wolf successfully disarms the man and pushes him outside, where he is shot several times. Coke throws explosives toward the enemies to escape and reach the truck parked nearby. The sergeant spots him and shoots immediately. Braun escapes, while Klein pretends to be dead. The Russians devour the food prepared by the Germans as they wait for the Red Ghost to recover. Exhausted and hungry from the fight, they eat quickly to satisfy their hunger. The sergeant excuses himself to bring bread to Kostya, guarding the area, and decides to continue his meal. However, he trips over Klein's body and kicks him in anger. Klein stays still to avoid revealing himself. The sergeant and lieutenant discuss their next move, but Vera screams that her baby is about to be born. Meanwhile, the Nazis try to push a car stuck in the snow when they see Braun running toward them wearing a dress. Steiger orders his men to drop their guns and praises Braun for his stylish attire. Dead acts as a midwife to assist Vera in giving birth. Simpleton helps Vera by encouraging her to imagine different things to distract from the pain. Meanwhile, the lieutenant and sergeant entertain themselves as Vera struggles. Seconds later, Vera gives birth to a healthy baby boy. The red ghost wakes up from his deep slumber, immediately retrieves his gun, and leaves. The lieutenant, sergeant, Wolf, and Kostya prepare for battle and decide to follow the red ghost as he senses the arrival of Germans from afar. Steiger orders his Nazi men to surround the house and secure the area. The soldiers are deployed to outsmart the red ghost's allies and kill their comrades during the encounter. Steiger commands several grenade attacks to eliminate their enemies immediately as their equipment is in position. The explosions destroy the houses where they were hiding. Vera, the baby, and Simpleton escape, while Dead orders Kostya to leave his post as he takes over. Brown asks Steiger for more soldiers to regain his honor after his failed mission, and Steiger grants the request. As the soldiers move forward, the lieutenant showers them with bullets to eliminate them instantly. The bombing continues, but the red ghost hides and silently targets the attackers. He kills them with headshots, and Steiger and his apprentice lose control over their men. Seconds later, an explosive is thrown in their direction, causing a massive blast. The encounter continues as Braun and his men move forward to engage the enemies. The Russians persevere to outsmart their numerous Nazi opponents. However, being outnumbered compromises their safety as they face an entire battalion. They are wounded from gunfire and grenade explosions. Dead saves the sergeant by using his own body to block incoming bullets. Brown shoots Kostya. The lieutenant handles a bomb. Simpleton protects Vera and her baby. The red ghost reveals himself and confronts Braun in hand-to-hand combat. He inserts a knife into his rifle, and the two battle fiercely, using guns, punches, and wounds against each other. When Braun tries to shoot the red ghost, he is immediately stabbed and drops to his knees, bleeding. However, Klein shoots the red ghost from behind, and someone fires back at him. The movie ends with the actor captured by German soldiers and forced to reveal the red ghost's location. The German soldiers punish the villagers for protecting the partisans, making the actor suffer. The actor fights back, and the red ghost appears to help the villagers overthrow the German soldiers. The villagers assist the actor as he struggles to stand, revealing that Kostya is the real red ghost.